who we're talking to.
Oh, you've been looking for conversation.
He's finally finished with his fucking bath.
Yeah, he's finally coming in. He's finally coming in. We have, ladies and gentlemen, we have the greatest retard that's ever lived in the face of the earth. Our friend. By the way, earlier today, yesterday, he texted me, he goes, "Should I still be mining pie?" And I said, "Yeah, if you like making money, it's free," because he was annoyed with the process. Today, he goes, "So should I be mining pie?" I go, "Look two blue things up, basically look up in the conversation chain." I answered the question. And then just because I knew that he wouldn't be able to do it, I was like, during the previous time, it was worth $100 coin, so probably worth it. And he goes, "What do you mean two things up?" It's like, all right, I'm fucking. I'll wait till tonight. I'll wait till later to be able to.
Only two people that do it are me and Sonny, man. He's the only one that follows me.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's already worth something. Once they get this thing right, assuming they eventually get it right, which I assume they would, it's perfect timing. The bull run's coming. So if they put this thing on exchanges, there's a chance to make pretty good money. So here we have the great Mike Saywer, calling from the UFC gym in Winter Springs. We're probably going to have lots of technical issues. This man couldn't work a fax machine for like months. It's going to
fuck up a cup of coffee.
I would like to see him fight a coffee machine.
I said he would fuck up a cup of coffee.
That's what I mean. I'd like to see him fight a coffee machine. I'd see him try to work one.
I think if you look through his record and look at his wins, I think he did fight a coffee machine one time.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I want to see that face, baby.
I don't even know how to do that shit, man.
Fuck.
Oh, you jerk off to women and put them. Your wife, of course. You turn on that fucking background so we can see him. I don't want to see him, but Jimmy does.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look at. Let's see if he's lying about what type of shape he's in. The dude's in a gym fucking 60 hours a week, complaining that he's not in shape.
Oh, I'm not in.
You're saying you're not in shape, Mike? Are you gonna stick to that bullshit story and expect us to believe it? Mike, can you hear us? Well, it's been a hell of a interview here, Jimmy. Screechy.
Hey, nice. Man, thanks for stopping by, Mike.
Screeching halt. Mike. He's coming in for round two. Let me get rid of the first one so we don't have remove.
Golly, man, I'm always the dumbest person on the call. This is crazy. This is happening.
All right. Hey.
Yay, there you are.
Hey, look, I just want you guys to know. Look, this is my stepson right here. So I keep the language clean in front of him.
You might want to. Hi, good to see you. And you might want to go to another room.
I can't promise that's going to happen.
Oh, no, this is moment. I just want to show you all what he's watching.
Oh, Beavis and Butthead. Very nice. Old school. Yeah.
I'm raising him right. Don't worry.
That's fantastic.
Has
he gone on to South Park yet?
I don't know. I don't know.
Go ahead and put in Mr. Slave shoving Paris Hilton up his ass, and you tell me if you're raising him right after Slave episode. It's a classic cartoon. It's a cartoon. It's not even dirty.
The thing is, they repeat things. You know what I mean? And that's the issue. They repeat things, and we do stuff when it's just supposed to be us being knuckleheads, and then things get repeated in front of his mom, and I guess, and I'm in trouble.
Well, the way to do it is to do it in front of the mom, and then when he repeats it, blame her for it because she was in the room when it happened.
Are you crazy? That's a great idea. I'm gonna use
My,
that.
my son the other day, this is yesterday. Daddy, thank you for bringing us to the aquarium because I brought them to the Tampa Aquarium. I go, no problem, buddy. And he goes, how do you spell bastard? And that's his website, bastard. And I was like, Bastar. I left out the D, because the way he says it. And I'm like, this kid really asking me how to spell bastard? Yes, yeah. And then the first thing that he said to my wife's brother today is that he was going to fart on his face. And there's something fucking hilarious about farts at any age, but to him right now, it's the funniest shit in the world. He might as well be watching Chris Rock with Dave Chappelle and all of them in the same room. Patrice O'Neill might as well literally be in his ear. It's the funniest shit. Just laughing his fucking ass off.
My son, he can do a goddamn jump fart. You know what I mean? Like he elevates and farts while he's in the air. I'm a very competitive person, so I'm immediately like, well, I need to do that shit now. It never occurred to me.
Yeah.
But
me either.
I can't do it, man. I've tried, man. Like I'll jump and then land and fart, but I can't execute the fart while I'm in the air. He does it.
Your asshole is clinching while you jump, so the fact that you can loosen it, you'd almost have to fart before you jump, but to do it in the air that's a miracle.
No, man, that's not the thing. When you get up to our age, you lose control of your asshole muscles. He could have done that when he was 20, easy.
Okay. Yep.
Evan, hey, listen, I might be able to get him to do. If you have a jump fart, like if you have one in the chamber,
I'd like to see
it. Know we're gonna get it on video for you.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
All right, he said, yeah.
I was going to say there's a bar in Thailand that's famous for, you might not want to have him hear this, but what they do is they have guys try to shit on the women in the bar. And the game is this, though. The women blow on the asshole, so the asshole will inadvertently pucker, so it's impossible to shit on the girl as a result of the air being blown into the asshole, so the asshole won't work to shit while they're actually doing it. So it's a game of I can shit on you, and they're like, oh no, you can't, and then fucking they blow on their asshole and they lose their money, and then people keep trying to win $1,000 by shitting on
this shit's already gone sideways, Beans.
Listen, I try to make sure you learn at least one thing while you come on. So I want to talk about big breaking news before so you have an event coming up. Let's be adults here and talk about it.
Thank you.
And then we can talk about this hypothetical event afterwards, but go ahead. So your event is when, and what are we looking at? Who are these people?
You guys talk about this bullshit, I'm going to go practice my jump farting.
Jimmy's dude, get it on film.
So yeah, May 18th. So this is my third show. And I got to tell you, man, it's every time you do a show, people just don't realize
a lot of fucking work.
Man. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about boxing in particular, the sport we love. Yeah. Boxing is not organized. You don't have, it's not like the NFL or, even Pop Warner football or, the NBA or one of these organized seasons where there's armies of people that kind of know what to go on, and there's 50 different people that can pick up the slack for somebody else not doing their job. Everyone's sort of in a routine, and
it's a team sport where people have done it since they were children, and there's a sort of a stock and standard way of doing it. Boxing is an individual sport, and there is no stock and standard way of doing it. It's a clusterfuck. You're a parent, you never take your kid and cut up oranges for halftime at a boxing thing. There's no structure to it like that. So you're dealing with every time you do this, you're dealing with cats that have no idea because there's no structure. and there's no organization. Everybody thinks there's a way to do it, but there's no consensus of how it's supposed to get done every time
Not even close. Not even close.
Yeah.
So what happens is, you do all this organizing, and again, I don't have the model worked out. There's no precise exact method to what I do yet, other than start working on things a month before you think you need to work on them. That's basically everything when it comes to putting together events like this. So this is my third event. It's going to be at Lake Howell High School. Both my other events were there. So first show, and this is all.
How many people can that high school seat?
I want to say you can put 1,500 in the gymnasium.
Good size place. So, and where's the location? Like, what are the nearest major landmarks or cities to this? And how far would it be from, like, Orlando, Winter Springs, or from your gym?
Right. So I live in Seminole County, and this fight's in Seminole County.
Sounds
it's
good.
about 15 minutes if you're lucky from downtown Orlando. Seminole County is northwest of Orlando.
Yes.
So the fight is at Lake Howell High School in Winter Park.
Okay. And so it's roughly 15 miles from Orlando, roughly.
Yeah, from downtown Orlando.
Yeah, that's easy to get to.
Yeah,
and
not
so yeah, Central Florida. Anybody in Central Florida. So continue. So you're dealing with trying to get roughly 1,500 people seated into this gym.
That would be a dream. This fight, I expect between 600 and 800 people to come, which is going to be double. What I think the most people. I think the first show I had over 400 people there. The second show I had less than that. It was during the holiday season. I think I had about 300 people there. The point I was making is with these amateur shows, I'll land the plane quickly. About 10 things happen within 24 hours of the fight beginning that seem like there's no way you can get around them. The show's going to fall apart.
What are they?
You're done.
Walk us through your issues, because this is actually fascinating. What are you struggling with right now, and what do you know what bullshit do you know you're gonna deal with without naming names? Just fucking in general, this happens all the time.
Here's the beauty of it. Okay, amateur boxing, professional boxing. I've been a part of a lot of pro shows. Not as many as Jimmy, but I've been a part of a lot of different pro shows in different capacities. As a fighter, as a manager, as a matchmaker, as working corners, train, stuff like that. With the amateurs, you don't have to deal with the egos that you have to deal with for the pro show. Guys, they're caught up in their ego.
But isn't their ego sort of isn't the contract? Can't you contract their ego down a bit? Meaning, your ego's fine as a fighter. You're supposed to have an ego as a fighter, but can't, when you sign a contract, there be certain things that remove the ego problems where they aren't asking for things that aren't stipulated in the contract, or they aren't, you know what I'm saying? Can't you remove the parts of the ego contractually with that would cause problems in writing, so that you don't have to deal with the parts of the ego that will bleed over into requests?
In theory, yes. In theory, yes.
You just don't have a lawyer. You don't have a lawyer to do it for you. Yeah, right. I get it, because it's a small show. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And I mean, the commission can usually take over if there's disagreements, last second disagreements. Of course, you want to get everything in writing, but my point is with the professional shows, you have to deal with every single fighter on the show directly. So you're dealing with, 16, 24 different personalities with different egos, negotiating things with them, so on and so forth. Some of them have managers, which is fine. It's always easier to deal with a manager. Not always easier, but
I was going to say, but at least the manager is appointed by people that think that person's more articulate, and will represent them. So at least you can have
the cool thing is, you're right. You understand, Beans. You're right. The thing is with the amateur fights, is you're dealing with the coaches. So it's a lot easier. You have a coach, and
Yeah, that's
generally,
perfect.
yeah, the fighters just do whatever the coaches tell them to do. There's no money on the line.
Because
Yeah, so nobody,
the coaches know how everything works. The coaches are just doing what's best for their fighter. They know the game.
right.
So you don't have basically people trying to figure out how it goes. They know exactly how. Why aren't the coaches the managers in when people go pro? It seems like they'd be perfect for it because they understand, both sides of the game, right? How come
There's money involved.
That's interesting. Say the question again.
So how come coaches and the amateurs, they understand how everything moves smoothly. They understand the boxing side. They're
Right.
coach and they understand the process of moving a fighter through, and they can make good determinations. How come they aren't the managers when the fighters go pro? How come the coaches don't say, I can still coach, but I'm your manager now? How come that isn't a normal?
Because it's a no-brainer. There's
It's
money involved.
Yeah, but even
Yeah,
so,
that
you
person
would want
money
your
involved.
coach to make that money because you trust that
It's
coach.
not. It's not. When money's involved, people start. They jockey. They want more money. They want you want to give them less money, and then and there's that issue. It's always that negotiation.
But wouldn't that generally make the most sense? So forget the money is obviously going to lead to bullshit, but wouldn't that make the most sense that your coach manages you, especially early in your career, maybe your first 10 fights? You know what I mean? Like,
Do you know? I mean, do you not just think about how many coaches and fighters split on bad terms, and I mean coaches from the very beginning on bad terms because of money disagreements.
Yeah, but that's it's not happening.
It doesn't. It's a
I'm not,
whole.
I'm not seeing it on the amateur side. What I'm
The
saying is
pros is a
amateur.
different planet. It's a
That's
different
because
planet.
both of us said the first thing I said, the first thing Jimmy said was the exact same thing.
It's
because there's money involved. That's why.
But even in the early fight, like just so we know, first 5 fights of a fighter that's not an elite fighter, not somebody who went like 200-0 in the amateurs and is expected to be the next big star. But the first 5 fights for a regular pro that's middle of the lane and probably going to go 3-2 or 4-1, maybe 5-0 at best. What can that person expect to make? And what could that manager expect to get as a cut? Is it 20%, 10%? And what's that fighter going to make per fight? Generally speaking, you know what I mean? Obviously, there's
it all varies.
I know,
Depends
but
on
what range?
I think it's 10%. They get 10% of your purse. Most like trainers don't even take that shit when you're making $400.
Yeah, $40 is it's.
I made $400 for my first fight.
Mike, what'd you make for yours?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Go for it, Jimmy. Sorry to interrupt.
I made $400 for my first fight. Plus I got a bonus of $200 because I basically fucking filled the place. And he handed it to me in cash. I put it in my pocket. That was it. That was the last time that ever happened with me. It was Eric Botcher, who I saw recently. Eric Botcher he was the matchmaker on my first pro fight. And he's the guy, he is the guy in boxing that I know the longest.
That's pretty fucking awesome. And that may come in handy for the later part of this conversation. Mike, you're
Jimmy,
dealing. So you're dealing. Go ahead. You know him?
Little footnote. Yeah, I've spoken to Eric a number of times. I've never actually.
You know where I met him? You know where I met him, Mike? He took boxing lessons with me in Olympia Boxing, Jim Ed Jones.
Falls Church.
Fucking 1982, 81. I got a newspaper article when they came through the gym. Eric Botcher's in the picture. He's a little fucking squirt.
How old were you guys when you both started boxing? Like what age were you first went to that Falls Church gym? How old were you?
I was 6. I was
Mike?
6.
18.
Jimmy, if I had known that boxing gym were there, you and I would have definitely run into each other.
You know where it was?
No.
It was in the basement of June Reed.
Well, I was going to June Ree. Fucking, I was living in June.
Right.
Was living
Yeah.
there. That's
Yep.
insane. Yeah, when we got kicked out of June Ree, for being too good, literally for getting to the belts too quickly. Contractually, we exhausted the contract, 1 year contract in 6 months. They kicked us out. They're like, you paid for the year, but you've, blah, blah, it was a whole thing. If I had known there was a boxing gym below, I would have been there. I
Fuck
was,
yeah.
I would, is,
Hey, do you remember in that June read there was a white guy named Mark, a little short ass guy named Mark, and he talked like he was Korean?
we might be talking about, so I was in June Ree in Annandale. You
Oh no,
were,
I was Falls Church, Heart of
yeah,
Falls
I
Church.
never went to the Falls Church one. So we
Okay.
would love to have seen a regular guy talk like a Korean. I would have been a huge fan.
It was the funniest thing, and I didn't understand it when I was young. It wasn't until I was older that I understood how funny that fucking was, man. Because most of the kids are running around trying to talk like black guys. This motherfucker's talking like Koreans.
Yeah, Wigglers were very, very big back in the day, but you never
Yeah.
heard of a wink. Not one.
Hey Jimmy, your pro debut. I was there at your pro debut. You fought Bobby, right?
Nope.
Bobby.
No, I never fought Bobby in the pros. Bobby Glass?
No. Bobby, from Alexandria. Yeah, it was Bobby, man. I'm almost positive.
Oh, I know you're calling him Bobby, but his name, okay, Robert Hunt.
Yeah, Bobby Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby Hunt. That's right.
Oh, I never knew him as Bobby.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bobby Hunt.
Yeah. Hey, you know what they put him? They put on his record on the card. They put his record on the card. They put it 4-3, but he was 0-7.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a nice man. He was a nice guy.
Really nice guy, man. Really nice guy. Yeah.
And I think about him. It's funny. You know what he means to me? He was the first person that I ever punched without a headgear.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And it was the feeling when I hit him right in the fucking, right over the eye. And it just I literally went back to the corner. I didn't go back to the corner because I took him out. But after the fight, I'm like, I can't fucking do this. I can't. I mean, it hurt my hand so bad. And when I think about that, I see his face.
Yeah.
That's weird that you hurt your hand that bad on an eye shot. Usually it's a forehead or a weird angle.
Oh man, I can't. I don't know, but I thought it was. I hit him right over top the eye.
Oh,
I was like,
probably on his forehead.
Fuck, man. I just bit down and took him out. But man, my first few fights, I really had problems with my hands, getting used to it.
Huh. Yeah. Jim Ed Jones, I ain't years, man. That's funny.
He was a hard ass, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. What's his name? John Gary trained under Jim Ed Jones too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I brought him in there.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that John Gary got to the point where he was teaching classes in there.
I think
could be.
John
knows boxing.
John knows boxing. I mean, he was one hell of a fucking trainer.
Let me tell you something about Jim Ed Jones though.
Yeah.
But he was the first one in the area that was doing these like cardio kickboxing shit. I mean, he was way ahead of his time, man. He would fill that basement with people and we would just do aerobics and fucking, we'd do like 30 minutes of the all these punching, boxing, aerobics and shit. And that people loved it, man. He was smart.
Honest question to both of you. Do you guys think that John Gary could have been a mediocre professional boxer?
No.
Okay. That's a very very legit.
Mike,
I don't have
I never really saw.
Go
I
ahead.
know he knows his boxing and he moves like a boxer, like he's always, he knows more than 99.9999% of people about boxing.
Yeah,
Which,
everybody. Scully, basically. Scully's the
yeah, well,
Scully's
nobody's,
fucking yeah. Scully's a freak. He's such a fucking freak. Yeah.
yeah, John, like if you ask him, he knows how to move like a boxer, he knows how to throw punches. Like the thing is, like when you're around boxing as much as guys like me and Jimmy are, we can pick out a fraud, like a guy that doesn't box or has never boxed. First of all, there's a couple dead giveaways just as soon as they say something. You're like, you don't know shit about boxing. Like when they tell you they know somebody that's semi-pro, or they know Uncle
Yeah.
was holding gloves. Like you hear those.
That's
My
actually
friend
funny as
told me,
fuck. Literally, somebody's actually said the word semi-pro as a boxer.
oh yeah,
That's
Jimmy, have you
amazing.
not heard that?
Yeah,
A
that's
million times, dude.
Oh,
A fucking million times.
as
that's
soon as
amazing.
somebody says that, like immediately my attention drops like 80%. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
a part that
like like he'll move. Like we'll be talking about fights, and this is years ago. It's been shit over a decade since I've seen John, but we would be like talking about fights and reenacting what happened or saying what we thought would happen. And his movements, the way he would, move his head and move his hands. And, you can tell John's a legit guy. Like he knows his boxing. As far as his athleticism and as far as his, fighting ability,
Yeah.
I just don't know. I have no idea.
You almost found out the first time you guys met was on a bus break. The first time I met,
Man.
I didn't even realize I didn't piece that together for years. But the first time we met,
Oh, yeah.
I was telling John to shut the fuck up. We're in a broken down bus. We're not going to fight the people that we're on the bus with.
Oh,
And it was a fight that almost broke up between Mike Sawyer and John Gary on a fucking bus coming back from the greatest.
but it was no. I was on John's. I was on John's side. It wasn't
you were?
me against.
Oh, I thought
Yeah,
you were.
like well, so John's. Now, keep in mind, first of all, we're on our way to
Back.
Gold Cup.
Oh, it was two
We're
gold
not.
cups. Yeah.
We're on our way to Gold Cup. So it's like 11 o'clock in the morning.
I was on it. I was on this bus, and I was so shit faced I couldn't even remember that it was to or
Yeah.
from. Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
didn't
bus
even
broke
remember
down.
you being.
Bus broke down.
But
I was there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So John Gary is already hammered.
Hammered. We're
and
all
we-
hammered. He's hammered.
We
Yeah.
just met. I'm drinking, but I'm not. It's 11 a.m. I wasn't
Yeah,
hammered.
yeah. No, me
I
neither.
had like 3 drinks, maybe.
I'm ready to pace myself. I'm
like
very
fucking
coherent.
Gold Cup.
shit that sounds like me.
Yeah. I don't get
So-
hammered. I'm just having fun.
So I meet John, and we're kind of shooting the shit. And I met him outside the bus. And then we were bullshitting on the bus. I don't even remember who I was with. I think I was with Bobby Sharma for some reason. Anyway, we start talking, and we're talking about boxing, so on and so forth. And Jimmy's name, always comes up when you're talking about boxing in Northern Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John's like, yeah, Jimmy's, a real good buddy of mine. Like, I used to train with him at Olympia, blah, blah, blah. I go back a long ways with Jimmy. I'm like, well, shit, yeah, Jimmy's a friend of mine too, man. Yeah, I know Jimmy. Absolutely, man. It's a good guy. So then we're immediately friends because we're both friends with Jimmy.
Yeah.
So we're bullshitting or whatever, and John's just getting more and more hammered. And man, there was a bunch of drunk people that were not with us on this bus. And these guys and John wind up antagonizing each other, and it looks like there's about to be a fight, and we're all stuck there. Nobody's going anywhere.
Nobody's going
bus,
anywhere.
and there's no end. There's no end in sight.
Yes,
It's not like
it's not gonna go well. It's
No,
gonna
look,
for me.
and
For
there's
me,
like
I'm going,
7
I
of
don't want to
these
go to
guys.
prison before I go to fucking Gold Cup. Like
There's like
I'm
7
happy
of
to
these
jump in.
guys.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm happy to jump in, but don't send me to prison before I fucking go to Gold Cup. Right?
Right.
It's fucking Gold Cup. Like
Yeah,
let's
get us
not.
afterwards.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, it felt like a prison thing where yeah, we can hit this guy in the fucking schoolyard, but we'll be on lockdown as a crew for the rest of the day. Like,
Yeah.
it's
So
not.
I was oblivious to you even being there. As I recall,
I'm a
John was
happy
alone.
peacemaker.
You
Huh?
know, he knew a couple chicks on the bus, but it was pretty much just John.
Yeah, because
So
I didn't
I'm
want
like,
to talk to that motherfucker while I was talking to
I'm
chicks.
going like, man, I just met this guy and he's about to get me a fight with like
Yeah.
7 or 8 dudes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he
So
had people there. He just we just didn't. We were used to it.
I just made friends with him
Yeah.
and I'm about to fight with him. But I'm like, man, this guy might be full of
That's all.
shit. He might be completely full of shit. Let me at least call Jimmy to
Yeah.
make sure Jimmy
Fine.
knows this guy. You know,
Yeah.
so I call up Jimmy. Jimmy answers. Hey,
Oh, you.
Jimmy.
This is
I
great.
I call him. I'm like quietly. I'm trying not to, I'm like, hey, Jimmy, you know
Is
this
this
fucking
while the
guy?
fight's going on? Is this while the fight's
Yeah,
going
this is while the people are arguing and shit. So I get on the phone. I call Jimmy. I'm like, hey, Jimmy, you know this motherfucker named John Gary, man? You know a guy named John Gary? And Jimmy's like, yeah, why? And I'm like, well, listen, I just met this dude. He said, I'm trying to be quiet, right? Man, it's
Yeah.
loud as hell. I just met this guy, man. And he's about to get me in a fight with like 8 people. And Jimmy's like, oh, fucking Gary. All right. Yeah, he's my friend. Try to keep him from fighting, but yeah, he's a buddy of mine, man. He's definitely a good friend of mine. Yeah. So do with that what you will. You know what I mean? Which is basically like, all right, now I gotta, these are back in the days. I was probably 21, 22.
Yeah.
Bar fights, street fights, bus fights.
We're so used
I-
to it.
At
Yeah,
the end of the
I-
day,
I-
you heard what you wanted to hear. You wanted me
Yeah.
to say I knew it because
I
you
wanted
you
to-
kind of wanted to get involved.
Yeah, you're right. I'd be correct. Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so at that point I was probably like, dude, can you shut up so we can get there for Christ's sake? Because he was always starting fights. I was never a fight starter. I got in so many fights though because every one of my idiot friends were, and for me loyalty's a big thing. It's a big thing, and that's caused a lot of problems because every time one of my idiot friends would get in a fight with
Yeah.
10 people, I'd be in a fight with 10 people.
Yep.
Instantly, I'm like, all right, I'm in. Fuck it.
Here
Why
we go.
at some point in my life, I was like, why do I have guy friends? Like, why don't I just want girlfriends from now on. Too many guy friends will lead to a lot of problems. And John
Yeah.
Gary was the beauty of that. That day was a great, by the way, Gold Cup. I missed that so much. What a beautiful event that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy,
Those were
Jimmy, you should be there every fucking year. You're still in the
I've
trade.
never been.
oh man, you're missing out, man. Even
It's-
now,
I go to every Preakness, but I don't go to Gold Cup.
It's the greatest event that's ever happened, like in the Northern Virginia area. Everybody's dressed up, so everybody looks pretty, and
But
it's a complete shit show.
I mean, hammer.
I mean,
Don't let
hammered
money out. You have
nuts.
you have women wearing like ball gowns,
Ball
eating it like freaking dressed beautifully, and just
Big-
diving, like flipping and falling in the mud. Oh my god!
swimming in ponds with their
I'd
fucking.
go for that.
It
Yeah.
is a beautiful. I think I went like 5 years before I
So
saw
you-
my first horse race. 'Cause I
So,
never
so you
could
so
see
you
a
made
horse.
it to the race. You made it to the race, and
But
all
again,
right.
don't think I saw a horse race that day.
Yeah. I
Did he
never,
never, so he fought the guys.
No,
nah, it
no
just it fizzled.
it sizzled.
Yeah.
Everybody realized, holy shit, we got to get there. We're stuck on the
I'll
road.
tell you one thing about Gary. That motherfucker could punch.
Oh
He-
yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Gary. He would punch. So
Yeah.
no matter what the situation was, no matter how outmatched he was, no matter how outsized he would throw that punch, no matter what. And
He knocked the shit out of me many a time. And I mean, he was a really, really good boxer. When I say I don't think he could have made a living,
Yeah.
he wasn't a killer. He wasn't a mean boxer. I think he was a mean guy on the streets at times. but for some reason he was not an angry killer in the ring.
So you don't think he could have won a couple of pro fights and been like an okay pro fighter? You think if
Oh, sure he could have. Fuck, but Mike Sawyer did that. Anybody could do that.
So this actually, Mike, we still need to go back to your event, but I think there's a chance that you guys, and I've been wanting you guys to refight for a long, long time. Jimmy has expressed a desire to fight again with
I mean,
you.
the thing is, like, Jimmy, honestly, I will beat the shit out of you. There's zero chance that you can beat me now. Zero chance. Like, this,
You think
I
you
know,
tricks?
I know exactly how you fight. You know, kind of a little bit how I fight, except for you got to use your legs and your reach. I don't have to use any of that shit. All I got to do is come and beat on you, and you're gonna go down because you're brittle and you can't punch for shit. And I'm gonna just it's not gonna be a good ending for you. I would advise against it if I was you.
Mike, what are you weighing right now?
Me?
Yeah. What do you weigh right now?
205, about
205.
205.
Jimmy, what do you weigh right now?
I haven't even checked.
Well, ballpark. You know ballpark what you are.
I'm probably heavier than Mike.
So you just heard what he said, that you're brittle, you can't punch for shit.
Yeah, he punches like a girl. Basically, the biggest shot Jimmy landed was in the second round, and I went down from it, but I wasn't hurt at all. Does that make sense? Like, it was like a flash knockdown. I was like, oh, that's Lange's biggest punch. What a sissy. You know, like, that's what was going through my mind. Was like, I can't wait to get up and maul this guy. You know, that's what I was thinking.
Which knockdown was that? Wait, how many knockdowns were there?
There was one in the
That's
second
it?
first round.
Did
Yeah.
they have? Oh, I'm thinking of standing eights. How many standing eights were there?
No, there was one knockdown. The
How many
standing was when I got cut on my eyelid.
Oh, and they paused. That's called a fucking standing eight.
And what happened?
Yeah.
How many of them?
Yeah,
How many of those?
he got me with a lucky shot. Lucky shot landed in my eyeball, cut my eyelid like a pussy. You know what I mean? Relying on a lucky shot. The fight was going my way. I was busting his ass up. But I mean,
Sure were.
you know,
Are you better now, Mike? Do you think you're better now? Do you think that you've learned some tricks now that
man,
bring you to the ring that you could show him?
absolutely. The game plan would be so simple, which is basically just walk in the ring and blow, and Jimmy's gonna fall down, and
I'm brittle, man. I'm brittle. I've fallen 3 or 4 times since I retired.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can actually get through the ropes and get in the ring with me, that's going to be a victory in and of itself.
This is so much better than Kendrick.
You ain't fucking kidding. I'll tell you that. No, we ain't fucking afterwards.
No, I mean, aside from the fact that they fuck eventually, this is better lyrically. This is better than Kendrick and Drake. Jimmy, Mike's just said a lot here tonight, and right now he is the Kendrick Lamar of this particular rap battle. He's kicking the shit out of you verbally right now.
God
Right now,
damn, is he?
10-8ing you, 10-8ing you. Do you have anything to say other than the fact that legitimately he had a couple standing eights, you did win some points there, and that the one knockdown, which he conceded, but Mike by talking shit about it and calling you a pussy.
I won some points.
I mean,
the points were incidental because it was a TKO.
But this is a shit talking battle right now. Mike's kicking the shit out of you.
I mean, he's beating the shit out of me. I'm brittle, and I'm
brittle.
I'm having doubts, and he may just talk himself right out of a fucking pretty cool thing.
Do you guys think that you could kick the shit out of each other again for the general audience?
I think I don't think Jimmy makes it more than a round. I'll be honest with you. Not
agree.
not now. You know,
I agree.
got
I agree.
We remember we were talking about Robert Hunt in my pro debut. My boys getting ready to turn pro, and your name flew around for his pro
Oh no, I
debut.
want. Oh no, no, no! If I ever get in the ring again, it's to whoop your ass, man. We're not.
No.
Uh, no,
Revenge.
Yeah.
he might beat me. You won't, but he might. He
No.
might get me. I haven't seen any films on him. He might be
When's
too
your
much.
last fight, Mike?
2000. What is it? 19 maybe. I was right before I got married. Yeah, it's been about 5 years. But
5 years.
I'm in a boxing gym all the time, man. You know,
Yeah, you shit, man. You look good.
thank you.
You might Kendrick Lamar and Drake after.
He's got that or that Schultz haircut.
Yeah, that Nazi war criminal haircut. Yeah. Yes, the Jews are how does he control? Listen, I'm excited for the possibility of you two entering the ring together. I think, and again, this is premature, but I think we can do some things with your fight that have never been done in boxing's history that would be interesting. Miking the fighters and putting the audio like on a separate channel so that the audience can actually listen to the audio from the round, like the rounds
That would be cool, man.
in between, and miking the corners. And I would actually say one thing that would be funny, because listen, I think I've heard a lot of fighters talk about how important corner people are. I think it would be appropriate for each of you to pick a stand-up comedian to come into your corner and just be your cornerman for that particular. Pick somebody funny that will talk shit in a funny way.
Well,
And
we're not even. How many rounds are we going?
20,
6. Let's go
20,
6.
20.
6? Well, what? How the fuck are we? We're gonna ask people to pay us to fight a 6-rounder?
No, it'll never. No. This fight's gonna go until you both
No. I want to. I think we
passed
go.
out in the ring. And
No. Listen. I think if we're gonna do it, we do it right,
to the
and
death.
we fight till a knockout. I mean, we'll have a referee with a legitimate referee, but let's fight till someone goes.
I gotta tell you that's a hell of a fucking selling.
That is a hell of an idea. If that can be sanctioned, I would agree with that. I would agree to that.
There you go. Now we're fucking cooking with gas here.
Now we're cooking with gas. So we have mic'd. So again, this is the first fight where the fighters will be mic'd and the crowd can actually hear the shit talking between the fighters. For me personally, and again, this is completely narcissistic fun, but I would fucking love to be a corner man in Jimmy's round 1, Mike's round 2, corner man in Jimmy's round 3, Mike's 4. I swear I could win the fight for both of you. Mentally, I could help get
If
you.
And let me ask you another question. Question. How big's the ring?
Oh God, if we can find a phone booth and you know what I'm saying, like let's find the smallest, like try to get. We can get like a 4-foot by 4-foot ring.
Yeah, I got one.
whatever
I got one in my basement.
Jimmy, what size ring do you think you'd like?
I got a 10 by 10 in my basement.
10 by 10.
Okay, let's do that.
You can do that?
Yeah, 10 by 10.
Why would I do that? I want to give you every advantage.
You already said that we're going until somebody gets knocked out. You can't knock
That's what I'm
me
saying. Why?
I mean, you lost right there.
What if you
What?
might fucking die of loss of blood?
What weight do you
Would
guys
that count as a knockout?
Like, are we looking at 185 or are we looking
Nah,
at
man. Let's do it at 175, man. That'll force both of us to take it seriously.
What are we doing? A fucking year from now? Probably.
Jesus. say 185, like 185. You guys, that way you don't kill, that way you still have plenty of energy for your mouth, talk shit along the way. I don't want to see you gassed out. Dude, you're old. 185 is easy for you guys both to make, a nice, comfortable weight.
Man, if I'm breaking my ass to lose weight the whole time, I'm gonna get hurt. I'm just telling you what's gonna happen.
What weight would you like to fight at, Jim? 200? 225?
Yeah, let's go 200.
200?
Man,
Let's go 190.
190. Okay, 190 makes sense.
all right. I mean, yeah, all right. 190.
Yeah,
I would rather let me tell you something. There's two reasons I'm doing this fight. Two reasons.
go ahead.
Number one is to whoop Jimmy's ass.
Yes. The
He's
most
gonna be-
important.
But the number two is so I can take some pictures of me with abs. You know what I mean? Because it'll be the last time they're ever seen. So that's one of the reasons that I want to go lower. But I guess I can, yeah, 190 is fine.
Well, let's do it. You can go. Ain't nothing wrong with going lower. There's no rules against that. I don't give a fuck about my abs because I ain't got them and I ain't gonna get them. But I'm gonna hit you on the motherfucking chin. That's what I'm gonna do.
I remember you
So I'm just
pissing.
gonna. I'm just gonna work. I'm gonna walk in the ring. My right side is gonna be like this, and I'm just gonna hit you right on the button. It won't be long.
I remember you pissing and moaning to Scully, talking about Mike hurt me to the body a whole bunch of times during this last fight. That's why you want to be. That's why you want to be at 190 so you can have some protection.
A little bit of cushion, When I
and
the vicious man. When I think body attacks, of course you're gonna think guys like Mike McCallum, Duran. I think the first name that comes to mind is Mike Sawyer. Money motherfucking Mike Sawyer.
I've seen Mike Sawyer actually when he takes his body work seriously. He's a very formidable fighter. He just
his
does
abs or his
no when he's actually working the body for real. He's actually a very formidable fighter. I've seen it. If I were in his corner, I'd be yelling at him, work the body, because he once he goes there, he gets angrier. Like you can tell he enjoys it. Once he lands a body shot, you can tell he gets a little sense of blood in him.
I'm not saying he's gay. I mean, he's a red-blooded American. Anybody that lands a clean body shot,
what?
It's like a fucking orgasm.
This is to get Mike hype. This is to get Mike hype.
Oh yeah, buddy. I came out to that shit. I remember that.
That was your greatest walkout song that I saw. It was
that was good. That was good. Hey Jim, I had my pastor had 19 amateur boxing matches growing up in Tampa. He used to spar with who's the guy that fought Hagler, the Mugabe.
Oh shit, he was an animal.
Hundreds of rounds with Mugabe.
I was gonna say that's not just a regular spar with. That's
a fucking animal.
It's an animal. Yeah.
That shows you what an animal Hagler was.
Yeah. I mean,
how about that?
For a guy like Hagler trying to find good work.
Here's a little interesting boxing fact that my pastor told me about. He worked it into a sermon one time. You guys will get a real kick out of this. He said that Mugabe's manager, the very famous trainer, trained Mugabe almost his whole career. But basically, he was teaching Mugabe how to tie people up. Like if you get hurt, here's how you tie the other guy up. And Mugabe's manager walked in on the conversation that Mugabe's trainer was having, teaching him how to tie up. And the manager stopped his trainer and said, "The beast will never get hurt. He doesn't need to learn this. Don't teach him this shit. The beast can never be hurt. He can never be hurt. Like, he won't get hurt in this fight or any other fight. Basically, he stopped. And I know why he was doing it. He was doing it because mentally,
Yeah.
he didn't want Mugabe to think that he could ever be hurt. Like, don't even.
Yeah. Don't get that
Hagler
thought.
hurt his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get that thought in your head. But then what happened? Hagler hurt him, and Mugabe didn't know how to tie up. Mugabe, he just basically stood there.
That's the truth. That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Once he got hurt,
I hope you've learned to tie up since the last fight, because you couldn't tie up for shit.
And I wonder if there's a way to do
you
that.
better work on your tying up.
I wonder if there's a way to do that with somebody, be like, you don't need to know that. And then while you're watching another fight, be like, no, that's not the way you tie up if you're hurt. You know what I mean? Like you say you don't need to worry about it because you'll never be hurt, but then you teach them it, through something else. I wonder if there's a way to do, because I love the idea of, in your mind, you're indestructible. You are never going to be in that situation. I love putting that confidence in a fighter.
But that's a certain type of fighter. That doesn't work for a lot of fighters.
All right, talk to me. Talk to me about that. Go on that.
You
think that you don't think
your trainer has to he's got to individualize each fighter. That may not work. That would never fucking work for me. Not in a million years.
Talk to me. Go on that. Explain the different type of fighters and why it wouldn't work on you and what you saw from fighters. Because now
I don't know. It's a certain.
Why wouldn't it work on you? Well, why wouldn't that not work on you? Like because
it just didn't work. It was too rah. It was too. I was more matter of fact. I'd much rather learn how to slip a punch than to be tough enough to not have to.
So,
you know what I mean?
Somebody's saying you're good enough to be able to slip everything.
Nobody can walk through everything.
Yeah. So I
was realistic.
You were realistic. Yeah, I got
Some
you.
Some guys aren't. And through that being unrealistic, they're able to elevate themselves sometimes further than they would have if they really thought about it.
That makes perfect sense. Like, I mean, you can, if you don't know what you don't know and you go in full blind before reality hits you, you could do real well. At some point, reality is going to hit you, but you do real well with a lot of optimism and a whole lot of great thoughts and hope. And then when it hits you, you'll be like, oh, shit. Some shit out.
I'll give you an off-the-wall example of Jimmy's 100% right.
Yeah.
Even Jimmy gets things right once in a while. But
yeah.
If you've ever seen, like, I know Jimmy's seen this, I'm sure you've seen this, where they get a bum for a guy that only has 1, 2, 3 fights, 4-round fight, and it's literally a guy that somebody met on the street, a state where it's a weaker commission, and the dude, I'm like that on the street. I'm he's a real good street fighter.
I see red.
Yeah, and he will come out the first round really thinking that he's gonna beat the shit out of the prospect, the guy that he
prospect. Yeah.
I mean, you've seen that before.
I've seen
yeah.
Where's
your picture go? Where'd your picture go?
There it is.
It's not up now.
I don't know, man.
No, but for the most people aren't going to watch the podcast. They're going to read it.
But it helps me to look at his fucking doughy ass face.
You know what? I got to tell you, I didn't want to see his face at all. And then when I saw it, I'm like, I kind of miss it. I kind of,
yeah. Looks like a little bit of a groundhog.
When he talks shit to you and he's talking, I was like, I miss him so much.
I want to watch it.
I used to see that big fucking face all the time, and now I never see it anymore.
Like it's like that guy. The first round, sometimes it happens before the end of the first round, but literally this guy is so sure that he's gonna beat the shit. He doesn't know that he's civilians. You could hear the but once he comes out there thinking, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy, he really, really believes that. Even though he's completely outmatched skills wise, he walks out there thinking, and you can hit that guy with the sledgehammer, and it's not gonna stop him because he just doesn't believe. It's not until fatigue kicks in that he gets knocked out. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. But here, I'll bring it back to the secret with Oprah. It's basically the secret of Oprah is stealing from the Bible, is to say you have these great thoughts. I'm going to do whatever I want. But in boxing, there is a point, or any combat sports, there's a point where you can't lie anymore. Like, you can get away with that great attitude in a lot of industries and make a lot of money and fool a lot of people with being a total fraud. In combat sports, there comes a point where your great attitude has to match up with your abilities, or else you will have a very bad ending, like a very bad ending. There's no lying in combat sports, and that's the beauty of it. The beauty of it is you can lie in life and be a fucking superstar. In combat sports, it's a meritocracy, and at some point you're going to be exposed. And there's no shame in being exposed.
That goes for talent level. That goes for talent level.
But
You can lie. You can lie in certain instances and get away with it, probably, but not when you're talking talent level.
It happens in life constantly where you can lie and get away with it. At some point in the meritocracy of combat sports, you're going to get exposed. And sometimes it's not your fault. It's not that you're that full of shit. Sometimes you just came across a former champion in your first fight. You know what I mean? You didn't know it, or in your second fight, whatever it is. You're like, holy fuck, I suck. But in real life, that doesn't happen.
Hey, Mike, you remember Brian Crum?
Yep.
No, I don't. Who's he?
Brian Crum was like a really highly touted amateur, and in the DC area, like it was like first in the nation or whatever, And I remember I was really coming along, man. I don't think I had won my first pro fight yet, but I was knocking guys out and shit. And fucking, I sparred this guy, and he made me realize just how fucking far along I wasn't.
Right.
It was like he made me want to just quit. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to box anymore because this motherfucker, like, it was impeccable as far as I was concerned. I couldn't move, and he was my weight. It wasn't like he was a big guy or nothing. He was my weight, and it was just holy shit. You realize that's when you kind of realize the levels that you got to move up the levels. You don't just because you want to or you think you are. It's you watch Rocky too many times, that shit gets in your head.
Yeah, you got to put the time in. I mean, that's 100%. I agree with that, man.
Mike, is there been somebody you remember sparring where you felt completely emasculated that you'd like to give their flowers to, where you were like, oh my God, like, what? I'm not even doing the same sport. Like, this person's doing a different sport than me.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. Yeah, I used to spar with Joppy. I know Jimmy used to spar with Joppy too, and he would use me to work on his things. He was so superior of a fighter to me. This is before I was professional. I was still an amateur when I used to spar with Joppy, but I probably sparred, I don't know, 60, 70 rounds with him, over a period of time. And he was so unthreatened by me. And I've got a decent punch. I'm not a great puncher, but I've got a good, but he was just so completely unthreatened by me that he was working on things. And I could tell that he was working on things while he was sparring me. You know what I mean? Like, he was just so superior.
Like he's trying out new things on you.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get away with this. And then he wouldn't hit me as hard
Reminds
as
me
he
of our last fight.
Jimmy coming back in with a counterpunch later.
took
That's
half
what
an
he works. Jimmy will pull it back together.
hour for you. Loving dudes, Lange. I think that's the greatest.
Dude, put your picture up, man. It's driving me crazy.
I'm trying,
You
believe it or not,
fucking piece of shit.
He figured it out before.
I'm trying.
By the way, we should have, before this fight happens, we should have a crowd, like a crowd vote, like on X or whatever, or multiple platforms to determine Jimmy's nickname.
Loving dudes, Lange. That's my vote. Do I get a vote? I'm loving dudes, Lange.
Yeah, I think
Hmm.
we'll have to put that on the list, but
Hollywood Mike, baby.
Man, I don't know how to put the goddamn video back on. I'm
Fuck,
sorry.
you
guys.
just had it on, you fucking
my
hard.
can you say anything good about Jimmy as a fighter? Like anything. Like give me your best, nicest thing that you could say about Jimmy as a fighter.
Well, as far as so
I know this is gonna go poorly.
I these are two things that I'll say.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually have two. I thought that Peter Lewison, I fought for the light heavyweight Caribbean title, I don't know, 2017, and I said, good God, this is the ugliest son of a bitch I've ever fought in my entire life.
I saw him. He was beautiful. But yes,
Just
I understand what you say. Yes.
how ugly he is.
Ugly as shit. Ugly as a motherfucker. Yeah.
And I fought Jimmy, and the whole ugly fighter punching in the face. Jimmy's so fucking ugly. I'm looking across the ring at him. You got to be kidding me! This looks like a butthole, like on top of the punch. You know what I'm saying? I just want to punch this butthole
I'm
right
getting fed up with this treatment.
in the butthole of his face. And the other thing is Jimmy. Then this is a serious one. That one was funny, man. We all know that Jimmy's got a good face, but a really poor choice of haircut. He fought a guy, and the guy won the fight. And they gave Jimmy a decision. I mean, it was a close fight. It wasn't like the guy mopped Jimmy. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but his record was like 14-12, or his mom had just died or something. He had this
Sammy Sparkman, baby.
Yeah. And one of the classiest things, one of the classiest things ever, people were trying to give Jimmy a hard time after the fight. And Jimmy was pissed off at himself. You know what I mean? He didn't have a good performance. Sparkman had the performance of his career.
Yeah.
And Jimmy, somebody said, who do you think won that fight? And Jimmy looked him dead in the eye and said, you know who won the fight. I know who won the fight. He knows who won the fight. Now you get the fuck out of my face. Something like
Jimmy's told that story on the podcast where he knew that Jimmy lost.
Yeah.
He knew he lost the fight.
And he admitted it. Like, you know what I mean? He admitted thought he
Dude,
lost the fight.
By the way, such a fucking badass fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
That's
was-
serious.
why
You
not?
don't see fighters do that, but that's the beauty of you, Jimmy. No bullshit.
Everybody in the gym knew, or the fucking auditor, wherever we were. Where were we?
It was in DC,
Where
wasn't it?
are we? Yeah, I think it was DC.
Where am I right now? Who are we talking to? Who's on the phone right now? No, but dead serious. You told I should have edited when you were telling that story. I was like, I gotta fucking edit that. But you're the editor. Like you're the one that's supposed to tell me. You told me that story, and I was like, fuck, I have to edit this because it's so indicative of your character. You got the win. You fucking lost the fight, and you told it to the media. They were straight up about it, and that's a perfect.
I believe that
of your
interview.
character. Yeah,
I believe that interview was Washington Post, and I got it somewhere where they're like, "What did you think did you think you won that fight?" And I just said no. I said, "You saw the fight."
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like, "What do you think? You know, how could the judges possibly?" You know, I just didn't answer anything. I just walked away. But actually, you know what fight that was? That was the fight that the whole Hollywood crew, Jackie Callan, Stallone, all the people, Ray
That was-
Leonard, they were
that was
all there to
right.
scout me.
You thought you had fucked up your big shot.
I didn't care. I wasn't.
You did.
Uh,
You don't act like you did. You did.
No,
You,
I was. The contender was not even on my radar. I didn't
I-
want to go on the contender.
no, but you thought you had fucked up in front of people. You felt
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
performed poorly. Yeah, you thought you'd perform poorly in front of people you cared a lot. Well, like, not that you. By the way, this is a real question. Do you feel there's any difference in performing poorly in front of people you really care about their opinion versus performing poorly in general? Like, is there a difference when you're a fighter at all about who's in the audience and who isn't?
Yes, ish. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe in the price of that ticket, and I believe that when you pay to see me, I should fulfill the price of that ticket
So
or
you
do everything within my
feel that
power.
way.
I mean, if
You
I
feel-
walk out and punch a guy on the chin and he goes right away, which is a premonition, but that's not my problem.
Are you premonition?
I did everything I could do.
You premonitioning Mike? Is that what you're saying? Are you talking shit?
I don't even know now because it flashed.
You,
I seem to have these visions.
you felt like you levitated above your body and talk shit about premonitions?
I'm not sure. I just woke up.
Like how he got his new ring name, Loving Dudes Lange.
Hey, that was a gift from a very dear friend.
Uh, so no, you guys are way more experienced than me. Let's say we actually pulled this together, you two fighting at 195 or whatever, and we've put the nickname thing and we've done all the pre-fight stuff where we've had the audience pick Loving Dudes Lang and the walkout songs or whatever, and we actually have everybody mic'd up. We've done all the legwork. Who do you
Oh,
think?
wait. I just realized I will
Who's
not I will not be announced. I will not be announced with any nickname whatsoever.
Well,
Period. That's an immediate deal breaker. I realize what you're saying. You're talking about having people vote to have me announced as Loving Dudes Lang. Fuck that.
I thought I could slip it by.
Fuck you.
Mike, we almost had him. Good.
I just caught that.
I mean,
Right,
we don't
so-
have to announce it, but we put it on. You should put it on. Let the audience.
Hey man, hey, the announcer's going to be my guy anyway. It's going to be Gary Digital Jones.
Oh
No.
yeah, Gary.
No. Fuck. Henry Jones. Discombobulating Jones.
Hey, it depends. This fight might be better off in Florida, and if it's in Florida, I'm putting my boy Tim on it. Tim does.
I want it to be in Florida.
If it's in Florida, I'll put Tim on it. Tim does professional announcing for WWE and for the Orlando soccer team. He's a professional. He takes it seriously. He takes it.
But we don't. But see, these are such the preliminary stages.
Well, again, but I was just going to ask preliminarily, how are we going to pick the undercard? Mike, is that going to be?
That's what I'm saying. You're talking to P Brain when you talk to him. If you want to talk big time shit, then you talk to me.
All right, Jimmy, how are we going to put together the undercard? Like, you're the main event. Who's gonna? How
we go to JD Brown or whoever we want to, whatever matchmaker we want to go to.
The matchmakers, okay, and they start piecing together the goods.
Mike's heard from a lot of those.
Mike's hurt. What?
Mike has heard from a lot of those.
He said Mike
Oh,
has he said Mike has herpes is what he really said. But
I said that first.
yeah,
then he-
we matchmakers do all that work for you, man. You know.
Like when look, you need a bum for your fighter, they reach out. A lot of matchmakers reach out to you.
Yeah, they if I needed a bum to fight a guy that I'm managing, yeah, I would call any number of people. Jimmy, if they could find an alcoholic for you to fight, I think that would be better, than me. But if it's got to be me, a lot of these guys got my number,
Well, you are an alcoholic.
Mike, how many days a week do you drink?
Like 2.
It's not bad. That's not bad.
No.
Jimmy, how many days a week are you snorting meth?
2.
Yeah, you guys are even, right?
Look how fat he is. There's no way he's doing math, man. You can't put on weight like that if you're smoking meth, snorting meth.
It's going to show up like a drug test. Mike, while we're on the phone, before we finish actually promoting your fight, what do you think of the Ryan Garcia Haney controversy post-fight? Obviously, during the fight.
You guys talk for me. I'm not going to take a shit.
Yes, please go shit.
Can't pay no doctor bills.
But Mike, I think you should come out to this song.
10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know, the man just upped my rent last night because Whitey's on the moon. No,
Mike, I think you should come out to Whitey's on the Moon.
Who is that?
You don't know the song?
Whitey's on the moon.
No.
Already giving him 50 a week, and now Whitey's on the moon. Taxes
Nah.
taking my whole damn check. The junkies make me a nervous wreck. The price of
I'm gonna send it to you offline. This should be what you come out to. It's the greatest fucking song ever. It's called Whitey's on the Moon.
Send it to me.
Yeah, it's
So yeah, man, May 18th. Got to keep these kids busy. Running a great show, amateur boxing. My events are very family friendly, unlike this podcast.
Yes. Correct.
And unlike the way Jimmy will look if we ever put this fight together when it's over. Don't let kids come into this fight. I'm going to beat his ass really bad.
Dude, your event that you're going through now, what help can you use? What can I do to help? Anything for your event other than just putting it out, editing it, making you look as by the way, great performance overall, great shit talking, fantastic, everything across the board. But what can I actually do to help for real? As a friend, what can I do to help?
You know what, man? I just put it on, just post it anywhere and everywhere. That's it. I got a great fight poster. I got 2 teachers fighting each other in the main event. Now they're fighting each other with
Explain that. When you say 2 teachers, explain what you mean.
well, we're fighting the event's at a high school, and I have 2 of the young popular teachers training at my gym to fight each other.
So
But
wait,
they're fighting each other
these are coaches that are coaching separate people that are the coaches are fighting. So basically, you have
one of them teaches English and one of them teaches like history or something. These are teachers.
teachers
the
for
high-
real. Oh,
Yes.
so they aren't instructors. Like these aren't like these aren't
No,
like
these are like you had Mr. Jones
oh no
teach-
shit.
science in 9th grade. That's what this guy is.
Amazing. Can you imagine what these kids are thinking about
Oh
this?
my God. Yeah, it's already going nuts. And the teachers are really cool guys, man. Like I put the fight poster on Facebook. I don't know if you've seen
By the
it.
way, fucking clearly, like if I had a teacher that had those types of balls, I might have paid attention. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's going to be incredible. I got them fighting each other with the giant bounce house gloves, and I have Giovanni El Rayo Estela is going to be like our superstar guest referee for that fight. He's a
Who
14 and
in
0
fuck,
undefeated 14 and 0 undefeated 154 pounder junior middleweight, and he's fighting in Japan next month.
Jesus,
And like,
that's a lot of syllables for somebody to be catchy. That motherfucker needs a nickname fast, because ain't
El
nobody,
Rayo,
no, ain't
El
no,
Rayo,
El what? El what?
El Rayo,
El Rayo.
LRAYO, El
What does
Rayo.
that? What does that mean?
Man, good question. I think
Did you say RAYO or REYO?
RAYO.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't know what it means, man. Good God. Oh, I'm looking it up.
What if it means pedophile in Spanish?
He can fight his ass
Yeah.
off. He's a lightning. Lightning.
A pedophile from the Spanish community. He
Lightning.
bangs 13-year-olds coming to the main stage. El Rayo.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't see Rayo in the fucking Spanish dictionary either. There's
It means the lightning.
oh shit. The light that's a good name. It's a good name.
Yeah, man.
Not about that.
Hey, what happened the time? What happened the time you were supposed to fight on my card? You got something. You got twinkle toes or something. What happened that time?
You know, I dehydrated myself too much. I tried to make like 154,
Oh,
and
gee.
I got down to like 156, and I was a mess, man. I was a mess. Adrian Davis was like, you can't even, you know what I mean? Because I was having trouble like getting up from one chair and walking to the other side of the gym.
Yeah.
And Adrian Davis was just like, I weighed like 170 and I made it down to like 156 over like 3 days. Just being a retard as far as not losing the weight ahead of time. I don't think I ever should have been fighting at 154. The lowest I ever made as an amateur when I was like 19, 20 was like 156. And then here I am at 28 trying to make 154. It was a bad idea. And
Mike,
then
how many amateur fights that you didn't have many amateur fights, right?
no, I think I had over 20.
That's yeah,
But
you had some. Yeah.
yeah, I had some. But I think like in my book, my USA boxing book, there's only like 8. But some of them were glorified. Like they were fights, but they weren't fights. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like there was a referee there, there were judges there, but it wasn't a USA show.
So true or false, Mike? You had more bar fights than amateur fights.
Oh, way more. Yeah,
Yeah,
way more.
I know that for a fact. I
6, 7
as a
times.
good lawyer, you know the answer to the question before it's asked. You
Yeah.
probably had 4 or 5 times as many, maybe at least 2, but
Yeah,
maybe
I had like 6 fights in Costa Rica, like in Central America.
you had fights in Central America. No shit.
Yeah. I lived down there, absolutely, man. Yeah, I
You
fought.
were training with who was the guy down there? The guy that
You're
knocked
talking
out
about
Forrest.
Mayorga. So you're talking
Mayorga.
about- yeah, Ricardo Mayorga. No, I never really trained with Mayorga, but I was at his gym when he was training. I didn't train out of the same gym as him, but I'd seen him training, and he was at least one of my fights, like in the
No
audience.
shit.
Yeah.
He was a good dude.
I don't know about that, but he was
I mean,
fun to watch.
I liked him. I was a fan of him. You say he's locked up now?
No. He was a lot of fun to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
But-
He was good.
Yeah,
I mean, I
fun to
never
watch.
heard anything personally bad about him, but I'm sure he was I'm sure he had his enemies or whatever.
Yeah.
Human beings are very flawed, all of us.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? It's a strange journey we're on, but if you can get through without somebody really having real evidence of what piece of shit you are, You're doing all right. You're doing all right.
God damn,
know,
he
like,
looked good.
You'll geek out on this, man. Yeah, he knocked out freaking Vernon Forrest, man.
Yeah,
He's a hell of a fighter, very unorthodox and wild, but damn, if he
comes
hit you,
from
man,
everywhere.
I
you
remember
were
Vern.
going. Yeah, but what I was saying is, then this is a really weird segue, but like the who's the guy? Assange, Julian Assange.
Yeah,
Like all the documents that he released and stuff.
of course.
Apparently, there was like a bunch of stuff about Mallorca, like in Nicaragua, like in those Julian Assange papers. I never read them, can't verify this, but he got in some trouble in his own country. Didn't seem like he was a very good guy, but I don't know one way or the other.
But the Julian Assange thing, and I don't mean to jump into conspiracy world, but Mike always likes to ask me what's going to happen. But I'll tell you this with Assange, just as a quick add-on. It's funny to me that Assange was a hero of the left. This is how fucking strange this country is. He was exposing George Bush for war crimes and was a hero because he was just literally putting the truth out there. And as soon as he put the truth out there for the Clintons, he is now an asshole and belongs in jail for the rest of his life.
Controlled media.
But it's all he's doing is just putting out the truth in both cases. He's not editing. He's not writing articles. He's literally just publishing information. And the same people that worshipped him now want him to be murdered by the government. And it's bizarre. Like, that guy should be as free as a bird all day long. One of the greatest journalists that's ever lived, him and Glenn Greenwald and Snowden. Everything Snowden revealed is true. He didn't lie. You know what I mean? Like, everybody who cares about truth should respect and revere these people 100%.
You get no argument.
I think I just marked us off for death, but I believe that's that's
I don't really follow that kind of news these days, but
no, I don't know either. I don't know what I'm talking about. I like that.
That's the difference in me and Mike. I'm dumb and I act dumb. He's dumb and he pretends he's smart.
Yeah. Mike's famous for sending me things and going, "What's gonna happen?" Not what do you think's gonna happen. He's always like, "Eric,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen?"
I got my mother. My mother is to the point where she'll actually ask, I wonder what Beans thinks about this.
Oh shit! I try to act so stupid on this podcast that nobody would ever want that opinion. Period. About
Hey, what does Beans say about the fucking transgender issue?
Let me
got a fan, man.
Let me tell you what the transgender issue is. They can't breed on their own, Mama Lang.
Mama Lang. Hey, you know what did it? It was the flowers to the hospital.
Really?
Yeah, man. Something. Golly. She started having flashbacks of all her time with you and everything.
Man, your mother deserves the utmost respect. She's a wonderful woman. Yeah, we talk a lot of shit on the podcast about everything, but yeah, your mom's she's an angel. She deserves that for real. But dead serious, the trans movement, and Mike, this is gonna be fun. Brace up. They can't fuck. They can't breed. They have no ability to breed. So they have to steal your children. How are we going to steal the children? They're like parasites, right? If you're not going to be able to fuck, right, you got to steal them through the minds and souls of the schools. What does a parasite do
they're just like Mike.
What does a parasite do to survive? It figures out a way. So they figured out, we're going to just put this mind virus into schools. And we're just we can't breed. We can't fucking teach it to our kids. We're going to mind virus these motherfuckers straight through the school.
So anyway, very family friendly. Yeah. There are lots of really good and nice local chaps. They come out to these fights. We don't talk about things like this.
I do. I'll see you on Facebook with this shit. You know you'll love it. Look, fam, the
And
trans community is my friend. I run the UFC in Winter Park, Florida. They are my friend. If you want to bring your trans son or sister down to and teach them how to fight to defend themselves from bigotry and hate, you come to the UFC Winter Park, and I will teach them how to defend themselves.
immediately I
Joe Coy
regret
here?
coming on this podcast.
This is your new advertisement, man. We just literally
Immediately I regret coming. Hey man,
Bullshit.
Jimmy,
Bullshit.
you want to get your
Hey,
ass
the
whooped,
day
man?
the day you start giving a shit, then I'll know you really went gay.
UFC Winter Park. Come to us. We will teach you as your trans and all your trans friends. He, him, she, him. Bring your 7,000 personalities down. We will charge each of you your individual monthly subscription to join. How many personalities you are? That's how many you will pay. Your monthly subscription at you, and we will admire and respect the fact that you're a he, she. But it will be our normal is $20 a month. If you're a he, she, it's $40 a month. If you are non-binary, that's
I gotta get off
infinity.
here.
You cost $100 a month. Come to
I
the
gotta get
UFC.
off here.
Winter
You
Park.
guys have a good
bailing.
evening. All
All
right,
right,
gentlemen.
Mike, I
All right,
love
brother.
you. Jesus. Good
Peace.
luck with your event. Thank you for your time. And by the way, I think I just made you money. I gave you an idea.
All right, guys, take care.
God bless you.